Known by folks in the music industry as Chuck's, the business first opened in 1958 in Washington, D.C., where it became known as the place to go for musicians from all parts of the United States who were visiting the D.C. area. Today, daughter Abby, son Alan, and grandson Adam run the show here at the Washington Music Center.
It wasn't just my father. My parents started the business. As my mother said, she let him put his name over the door. But if you look at any early photos, it's my dad and my mom together. Everyone knows it's Marge and Chuck Levin. Dad liked to talk to people. He loved the business, he loved music. You know, the big superstars and the kids just starting out, he just liked to talk to people. He, you know, and he always said, music is a happy business.
This was the fire on H Street.
Chuck's moved to Wheaton after fires from the riots following the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. destroyed the D.C. store in 1968.
The community loved them, and it was very hard for them.
The store was reopened at its current location just 2 months later. Chuck and Marge Levin worked the store every day, and as a child, Abby and her siblings spent long hours there learning the tricks of the trade. The rule at Chuck's is a Levin must be in the building at all times.
The Levin family is the music center family because even as kids, it was very interwoven into our lives. There was no family and store. If we wanted to see our parents, we went to work with them. And I mean, I have people who've worked for us that are here that have been with us 37 years. You can't be with people that long and have them not be family.
Adam Levin got involved in the business shortly after graduating from college with a degree in engineering. He was convinced by his father, Robert, who passed away 2 years ago, to give it a shot.
My dad and I had an agreement that if I stayed for 3 years, then I had to stay here forever. And the first 3 years was the trial. And within the first 6 months, I knew this was it.
Chuck's is not your usual mom and pop brick and mortar shop. It's sort of a rite of passage into the world of music. Walk in and you'll see drums, keyboards, and hundreds of guitars, some of them made by Paul Reed. This Rockville native worked at Chuck's during high school and went on to create his own label. The Washington Music Center sells more instruments on an annual basis than any other store of its kind in the United States. They offer clinics and workshops for professionals and students, and a big part of the business is instrument rental.
We do about 20,000 rentals locally for the surrounding regions and schools, and then we also sell to government agencies, Army and Navy bands around the world, and extends beyond languages, it extends beyond personalities, it extends beyond region of the country. It's universal.
You name it, everybody wants music in their life.
And there are plenty of famous people who shop at the Washington Music Center. Nils Lofgren, Doc Severinsen, and Smokey Robinson are just a few of the big names to make a stop at Chuck's. Stevie Wonder is probably the most regular of the stars. When he comes into town, he pops in the store. You'll find him in the back playing on a keyboard right alongside other customers who are doing business. Abby Levin says it's special when the stars stop by, but they don't let that distract them from the folks who stop in on a regular basis.
We treat all of our customers like superstars. I think what the musicians that are better known like about coming here is they can come here and just be a musician. People don't bother them. They can sit, Stevie Wonder will sit in the back in the keyboard room and play and nobody bothers him.
Councilmember Mark Elrich is a big music fan. He follows local bands like the Nighthawks and played guitar in his own band when he was a young adult. He's made plenty of visits to Chuck's over the years.
Obviously not actively playing in a rock and roll band now, but I do occasionally go there for stuff, and it's just a beehive of activity. I run into people I know who do play in bands. It's just a place that I think everybody's viewed as a reliable local. They are local business that caters to the music community.
And when Chuck Levin's children came to work for him, they weren't exactly working in high-level positions in the company. Abby joked her dad handed her a toilet brush on her first day.
We were always told, You never ask your salesman to do something that they don't see you do yourself.
Though Chuck Levin died in 2002, the family carries on his sound approach to customer service and making their clients feel valued.
It was what Chuck did and what he taught my father and Alan and Abby, and kind of how that trickled down to me that I think makes this place what it is. You know, I'll go in the basement and I'll dig for a guitar pick for someone for 10 minutes, and it's a 30-cent sale, and it's that extra, that over-the-top personal touch that really defined Chuck and Marge.
And when it's your name on the front door, you really do care about what people say or think when they walk out the door. If they have a bad experience and talk about us, they're not talking about some chain or something that doesn't affect me personally. They're talking about me. They're talking about my family.
Because of the depth, it doesn't get as chirpy as like the little piccolos usually do. Right, yeah.
There are about 150 people who work at the Washington Music Center. One of those employees, Carl Kulos, has been at Chuck's for 37 years. His son is Chris Kulos, a homegrown musician of Chuck's. This Wheaton High School graduate is the drummer for the rock band OAR. As far as the Levin family is concerned, Wheaton will continue to be home to this mecca for anyone who knows anything about music.
Wheaton is a melting pot, and the community's been very supportive of the business since the beginning. So it's a very different, lots of different cultures, lots of different styles of music, lots of different walk-in business. We're kind of, it doesn't seem that, we don't think of Wheaton as being a very central location, but it kind of is. We're kind of in the middle of a lot of different cultural and business areas of the region.
And the pride the family has in their status in the music business is certainly evident when Abby talks about the best part of carrying on the Levin legacy.
One of the nicest gifts we have left behind from both Robert, my mom, and my dad, customers will still come in the store. They'll come in with their grandchildren now, but they'll have a nice story to tell me about, I remember getting my first sax from your dad on H Street, or I didn't have the money to finish paying off my guitar, and your mom told me to just take it and you'll pay me later. And hopefully we're creating more good stories, because that's the legacy that we had, and that's how we were taught to treat our customers, and we want to have just more and more good stories.